Hi.
Hi, it's going.
Good. You know what I just realized?
Hmm.
I don't know how the Spice Girls did it. I almost just broke my ankle going potty again with my Doc Martens that are platforms, but they're like just a little. I have other platform ones, but these are a little bigger. They're not. There's no stability in the ankle region, and I'm like, those ladies, the entire height of this shoe was their platform
Mm-hmm.
only, and they were just running around.
Yeah, I don't know what the trick to walking in platforms is, but
Well, I'll let you know if I end up at urgent care because it seems like it's in my
oh
future.
God, please don't.
How are you doing?
Blend it.
Good. You look like the lights come back in your eyes
Really?
since New York. You look rested.
Debatable, but
You
thank
do.
you.
Should we get into some hometown heroes?
Let's do some hometown heroes.
Welcome to Disrespectfully
With Katie Maloney
and Dana Cathan.
unapologetically,
We're here to do what we want to do.
spilling the tea.
Babe, you're going to see the power of women. Like,
Disrespectfully.
Ashley says, Hi, Katie and Dana. I love you both and literally wouldn't survive my work week without your pod. I have a creepy dating story for you. We love creepy dating stories. Back in my 20s, I'm now 37. I matched with a guy on Tinder and we started messaging back and forth. Let's call him Brent. It turned out we had the same birthday, which I thought was cool. Overall, he was pretty articulate through text and it seemed like we had a lot in common. Quick sidebar, whatever, like I'm trying so hard, not that I'm dating at the moment, but in the past, I used to do that. Like if we had the same birthday or like liked the same food or things that were not that crazy, I'd be like, "Ugh, this is my soulmate." I'm not saying you were doing that, but I'm trying not to. So if you're out there doing that, it's not that special. We have to just look at it objectively. After messaging for a while, I asked if he would want to meet in person. He first agreed to meet up, but then later changed his mind. After that, he kept avoiding the idea of meeting in person. Then one day, he said that he needed to tell me something. He told me that he was struggling with some mental health issues and needed to take some time to focus on himself. I'm a mental health therapist, so I was really understanding of him needing to focus on himself and wished him well. Fast forward a few months later, I see him again on Tinder. We match and we start talking again. This time he tells me he thinks he's ready to meet in person, but he's nervous because he can be awkward in person. We talked about maybe going to a basketball game, but never made definite plans. There's a local music festival that happens every summer called Soundset. One of our conversations involved me saying how much I wanted to go, but I didn't have tickets. One day I'm at work. I worked at a mental health agency, and I got an email from the front desk saying that someone had dropped something off for me. It turned out to be an envelope with a pair of Soundset tickets and a note that had a quote about the universe rearranging itself. I don't know why, but I just knew it was Brent. I immediately messaged him to ask if he had left the tickets, and he said yes. He said he had bought the tickets but decided he couldn't go. Now, this could be thought of as sweet, but I felt weirded out. I never told him where I worked, only that I am a therapist.
Ugh.
Yeah, don't love that.
No.
Also, we hadn't even met yet. A couple weeks later, I'm leaving work and walk to my car. I find a handwritten note stuck under my windshield wiper that had a quote written on it. Girl,
You in danger.
girl, you in danger, girl. I don't remember what was on it now. No name or anything else. What is weird is that no other cars around me had a note on their windshield. Also, I didn't park in our parking lot. I parked on the street about a block away. I went home and compared the writing on this note. She's like a forensic writing analyst at home. I compared the writing on the note to the one that was on the envelope and it looked the same. This really creeped me out because if it was Brent, he would have had to see me go to my car to know which one it was. A few days later, I walked to my car and find another note stuck under my windshield wiper. It had been raining that day, so I couldn't read what it said, but after that, I stopped talking to Brent and I blocked him. I never confronted him about if he left the notes because I think I didn't really want to know. Nothing ever happened again. Perhaps the story is a little anticlimactic, but I fully believe it's only by pure luck that I did not end up on an episode of Dateline. Needless to say, stay safe out there, folks.
So what?
I mean, that's terrifying.
So
I obviously it was him leaving his creepy
yeah,
little notes.
but okay. To me, that just means it's somebody at her work or that she works with.
Leaving the notes?
That she was talking to, this guy Brian. Like it wasn't that this guy that she met online that like, was this
Oh, like
complete.
a catfish situation?
Yeah, it was somebody that like wanted to like, yeah, it was somebody that she knew.
Hmm.
Obviously, it wasn't like stalking her, like,
Was that obvious to you, Allison? That wasn't obvious to me.
It was like,
But
so I was like, so who was it in her work, that place though?
okay,
It had to. That's what
it
it was
has
to
to.
me. It was a catfish.
I mean, it's even worse. Well, and I mean, also in this day and age, if someone keeps canceling and you're not like FaceTiming with them, then obviously something's wrong.
That's what it is.
Oh, that's so creepy and awful
How
and
is it
weird.
not that obvious?
I don't know, man. I'm just getting back from the Hamptons. What can I say? This is Montauk Bring. There's no known cure. Okay, actually, I've wanted to ask you about this for a while. So there was a girl who did a TikTok. She went on one date with a guy, didn't tell him where she lived, didn't tell him like too much personal information about him, about her. The next day she got home and there was a giant floral arrangement and all this shit in her front door. And she'd made a TikTok about it and she was flattered. She was like, this is like so sweet. And if he wanted to, he would. And that was the point she was making. But what I took away from that and the comments seem to reflect is if you go on one date with someone and they do not pick you up, you don't send them your address, they don't know where you live, I don't think it's romantic that they have found your home to send you flowers. Like if they know nothing about you. I think that's romantic after you guys get to know each other more or like you meet their friends, so you DM their friends and see if it's okay or whatever. But like, how would you feel if you met someone once they didn't know where you lived and they sent you shit? Oh no. Oh
I don't know.
no.
I'm trying to think. I mean, it depends on the person.
Well, I mean, you don't know that person very well at that point.
Well,
So
I know, but I mean, listen, I think that can be a nice gesture. It's just flowers.
it's not about the
It
flowers
depends
though.
on how they went about to find it, though.
Well, I mean, exactly, but in general, they found it. So, like, using Google, they Googled you.
Okay,
They went to those backsite things where you can pay
then
for
that's
it. Like,
okay. Then that's fucking creepy. But if they met, how did they meet?
I think it was a dating app in this situation. So,
And
it's
then
not like through friends or anything.
well, I mean, if it's connected to your social, you know what I mean. They can obviously like reach out to a friend or something. I don't know. I mean, I think there's some parts that are being left out. Obviously,
I don't know.
you really can't just like find someone's address like that.
You can.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, then yeah, that's creepy. But I think her being not as creeped out about it, they probably had shared like socials or something. I don't know.
I mean, to each their own, but I thought that was weird. And this, you're so right. It was someone that she worked with. But either way, just like leaving the tickets again, I just like see him like a scurrying little mouse like pop up out of corners, and I can just like see their handwriting looks like it was written with their toes instead of their hand. Like what?
Scrolled out.
A quote about the universe? It's too weird.
Yeah, what was that? The universe is
Rearranging things. Well, I wish she would stop because I finally get comfortable with how my living room looks, and then everything's fucked up. So basically, how I feel about it.
because he can be awkward in person. You got a secret admirer at your workplace, and they don't know how to tell you. I mean, kind of sad. Anyway,
Kind of sad, kind of creepy. Anyway,
anywho, Jim says, "Hey, ladies, Jim here. Love the pod and have been an avid Bravo/VPR fan since the beginning. I'm probably not your typical listener. Well, your name is Jim.
but we love a gym. Like
We love a gym.
We
I
want
know.
more gyms.
Listen, just saying you're correct. But we love having you. Being that I'm a happily married 49-year-old male, but I tend to lean towards listening to the intelligent gals like yourself from VPR versus some of the moronic males. No need to mention names. I told my wife I was going to write into your show and she thinks I'm weird, but she loves it. I have a story that needs to be told, of which I think your audience will thoroughly enjoy. Last year, around Labor Day weekend, whoa, like exactly a year ago,
Yeah.
I was invited out on a boat ride in Westlake Village where I live. I went out with two other couples, and being on a rented boat for a mere 2 hours, one tends to overindulge in trying to drink as many cocktails, wines, and beers in that short span of time. We proceeded to dock the boat and had dinner reservations right on water. We had a lovely Italian dinner with plenty more libations, but the problem is that was the last thing I remember of the evening. Dun, dun,
Were
dun.
you in the Hamptons with us, sir?
Yeah. We apparently went to another 2 bars, back to my friend's house to continue drinking his fine whiskey. Ooh. Then finally made it home around 2 p.m.
I'm not
Or
totally
2
clear
I
on
think
that.
it's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
I
go
was
at
gonna
2
say,
a.m.
I was like, damn. Okay. I woke up the next morning. Okay, at 2 a.m. I woke up the next morning buck naked in my guest room, which was very odd for me. Bigger issue at hand is that my mother-in-law was also sleeping in the bed that evening. Here's where it gets interesting.
Jim,
This
this
gets
is where
more-
it gets interesting.
Okay. My mother-in-law told my wife that I was going through the guest room closet looking for things in the middle of the night. She figured I was sleepwalking. That's never happened before. And then I proceeded to go to the adjacent room, take a piss, and got in bed with her. What horrifies me is that I typically have a boner when when I sleep, so I can only imagine that the computer screen light hue within the guest room was a perfect spotlight for my most likely fully erect member waltzing around in the midst of the nightlight. That was never addressed, nor do any of the family members aware of this episode. Probably for the best, as I don't want to be known as the night donger within the family. Fortunately, my mother-in-law is super chill and just chalked it up to a drunken sleepwalk and told my wife I looked comfortable in her bed, so she didn't want to disturb me. Oh my God. Imagine the shock when my wife nudged me the next morning asking, "Do you even know where you are and what you did last night?" Disrespectfully, I will not be overserved again like that. Your loyal listener, Jim. Oh my God.
Jimbo.
Jimbo.
Jimbo. It's like from the makers of Jake Gyllenhaal's Nightcrawler brings you Night Donger.
Night donger. First of all, I've never heard someone refer to a boner, a dick, or anything as a donger.
No afternoon dongers, no morning dongers, no dongers of any kind.
Just no donger at all.
This is so funny and ridiculous, and I'm glad that your mother-in-law is so chill.
Yeah.
But like, imagine, actually, I had kind of something similar happen, same but different. So back in the day when I was with this big company at our national sales meeting, so you get they give you a random roommate at the hotel's like convention center and whatever. I had this girl, and I usually got really lucky because it wasn't a lot of women in my company, so I was usually alone. But this time they put me with someone, and we like exchanged pleasantries, and we met, went out, came back. When I got back to the room, she wasn't there. And people drink excessively at these meetings. Like, it's a lot of people that are happy to escape their lives and like get wasted. So I go to sleep. I obviously don't sleep well. I woke up at 4 a.m. to her clicking the light on and shaking me. And I'm like, bitch, what? And she goes, "I just threw up all over my bed. Can I get in bed with you?"
Please no.
She's a stranger. She's a stranger in her undies and a tank top. She doesn't wait for me to answer. I'm in shock. She gets in bed with me, touches me all night long, starfishing, doing all the things. And I don't even like that if I love you. So I, in the morning, sent a scathing text message to my boss, and I was like, "You guys will get me my own room by the time I will be packing at lunch, coming back, and getting my own room." There was puke all over the bed, and she got in bed with me with a random stranger. So at least you guys knew each other.
Oh my God.
I wonder where that girl is now. She's probably doing great. Probably doing
Killing it.
Probably doing big things. Running the company.
Thriving.
Oh
my God.
Have you ever sleptwalked? Are you a sleepwalker?
No.
You're a sleep hummer, you know.
Yeah. No. I don't think so. I've never like woke up in a strange place. I mean, I've definitely like not on purpose like slept on my couch after a night out where I'm just like, "Oh man, I didn't make it to my bed." Because it was just like I've like come home, kick my shoes off, laid down,
Did
just
you
like
do the
been
Victorian style grounding nap, or like a real you slept? Like,
yeah,
lay
no,
on the
like,
couch?
like and just like was like on my phone, like scrolling on things, then woke up with like the sun in my face. I'm like, "Ugh, that's annoying."
I feel like I've done it a little bit, but like only to my couch, but nothing crazy. I also, that one fucking freak do you remember that guy that was absolutely lying to me about his entire life, and like something was up, like he was we'll call him Mikey. Mikey was a liar who absolutely was like had a family or something. Like all these like lies kept coming out. He kept telling me, like, one time he told me his apartment flooded, and so we needed to stay at a hotel. Like, all this weird shit was happening. But one time when he slept over, he claimed to have what's the
Sleep apnea?
sleep apnea, right? But he didn't have his mask with him, probably because it was at home with his family. I don't know, like something. I ended it like and could never prove anything, but something was weird. So he said, like, when he didn't have it, he would sleepwalk. And one time, completely butt naked, he walked into my hall, walked out of my apartment. I heard the door open and close, and I was like, "What was that?" And all his stuff was
But
there.
sleep apnea has nothing to do with sleepwalking.
Again, could have been another one of his crazy lies, but he was fully asleep. Like, I walked out and he was walking down the hall butt naked. Anyway, I caught him
Lock
in
the
time.
door.
Yeah, lock the door. But anyway, hope he's doing horrible.
His sleep apnea is where you like stop breathing while you're sleeping.
Right,
or
but
you,
he said something about like, and again, he was a liar. So
I mean,
he-
listen, I don't.
you
What
guys,
do I know?
to be totally honest, on our second date, he picked the place. It was in Santa Monica under his name. That's far for me to go. It's like 40 minutes. Drove all the way there. It was under his name. He made the reservation. I sat down, 30 minutes goes by. He's not answering me. He's not there. This is our second date. And this is how down bad I was at the time.
Tangent time.
Literally. He told me he got in a car accident. And this is important information because I'm just saying, like, that's how down bad I was. This man was a psycho. besides his naked sleepwalking. He also told me he got in a car accident. He obviously didn't. And I kept saying, don't be me. Summer is in full swing, and you know what that means. Not me just trying to rhyme. It's time to give your skincare routine a little boost. I've been using Oak Essentials, and let me tell you, it's a game changer.
I've been loving Oak Essentials too. They've made skincare so much easier and more luxurious. It's like having a spa experience right at home. And the best part, their products are clean and good for both you and the planet.
Which, obviously, you and I, big fans of the planet.
Big fans.
One of my favorite products is the Moisture Rich Balm. It's this incredible nutrient-rich balm that not only hydrates, but also supports collagen production. And I love collagen. It keeps you young. It keeps you hot. It gives your skin an instant luminous glow that's, out of this world.
And the texture is just divine. It's silky smooth and melts into your skin. You only need a little bit for daytime use. A little bit goes a long way, as they say. But I apply it generously at night. Like, I just want to bathe in it.
A nice schmear everywhere.
Yeah, it's like a nighttime beauty treatment.
It's packed with amazing ingredients, like my favorite ingredient, sea buckthorn fruit oil, which is a powerhouse for collagen production and fighting free radicals, and organic cocoa seed butter with the extra boost of antioxidants.
And let's not forget about the Dew body oil. It's like liquid gold. It's lightweight, absorbs instantly into the skin, and gives your skin beautiful head to toe glow. Perfect for summer and smells amazing too.
It's such a great addition to your beach bag. I love applying it after the shower. It's like an instant upgrade for your skin. Plus, it can replace your perfume. Makes you smell real good.
The ingredients in the Dew body oil are fantastic. Organic safflower seed oil, borage seed oil, and organic sesame seed oil all work together to keep your skin hydrated and healthy.
I was just telling someone the other day how much I love safflower seed oil. It is the best. So if you want to treat yourself to some incredible skincare, here's a special offer just for you.
That's right. You can get 15% off your first order and a free full-size balancing mist, a $44 value, by the way, when you use the code disrespectfully at checkout.
Just go to oakessentials.com/disrespectfully to snag your 15% off and get that amazing $44 gift. That's oakessentials.com/disrespectfully, promo code disrespectfully.
Don't miss out on this chance to get your best skin this summer with Oak Essentials. Treat yourself. You deserve it.
Jessica says, hi, ladies. First of all, I love the pod and both of y'all. FYI, English is my second language and communication is not my strong suit, so bear with me. You're going to do great. I feel great about this. I have a story from my mid-20s that took place the week before we realized that COVID had hit Sweden. I was out with a friend of mine, her boyfriend, now husband, and his friends. I was incredibly messy, got really drunk, and ended up going home with one of his said friends. We get to his place, do the deed, turn the lights on, only to realize I had left an absolute crime scene in his bed. Like Crimson Tsunami hit this poor guy's bedroom kind of vibe. Being incredibly drunk, I somehow forgot that I was on the second day of my period and had a Luna cup in. How did he not feel this waltz inside me beyond my comprehension? He was super chill about it, but immediately after I left, realized I forgot my keys and spent the night at my parents'. Saw him after a few days to get my keys back, and he was kind enough to give me COVID as well.
Sick.
The memory of this remarkable shit show warmed my heart during our very lax COVID restrictions and is one of the funniest things to ever happen to me. Hope you all enjoyed my gory story and stay awesome. Proudly, Jessica. A Luna cup? I'm assuming that's like a Diva cup. Same.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried one of those?
Mhm.
How'd it go?
No, I'm like a big fan of them. So listen, because honestly, you just pop it in, go about your day, don't even have to worry about it, and they hold nicely,
For the whole, because that's my thing. So you do midday. What if I'm in a public restroom? I have to
No,
take it out and clean it and put it
12
back in?
hours or 10 hours. No,
Oh.
no. I mean, there's some people. I mean, if you are crazy, then I don't. There's some people that it just doesn't work for because they just are blowing. But for me, no. It's just you do have to at the end of the day, wash it hot water, you got to be. That's the only kind of pain in the ass thing about it. But it's all obviously a lot better for you. one one thing that happened to me, I wasn't sleeping with anyone with it in, and I think that, but I did have one in one time, and I was laying down, and I went to get out of bed, and I kind of flexed my lower abdominals or pelvic floor, and it squished the thing inside of me and everywhere.
Exploded.
it squeezed everything out of.
Is that why you don't use them anymore?
No, I was kinda like, you should replace it after, like, a certain amount of time. I mean, I don't think they last their mental last, like, for years, but I just haven't got a new one. I don't know, I just got, like, lazy about it, but they make ones now that are even, like, I don't know, like, more shallow, like, flexible
Just
sorta
a
disc,
disc, a disc.
and you are supposedly like, they're like, "Oh, yeah, and you can have sex with these in," and I was just like, "Um, I don't know that I wanna risk that biscuit, dude." Like, I don't know.
The amount of faith that you have to have in that, I'm like, I don't
Like,
trust
what, for,
anything that
like, for
much.
the most gentle sex you've ever had in your life?
Yeah, I mean, that seems crazy to me. I think you're setting yourself up for failure there. Have you ever accidentally had sex with a tampon in, like, forgotten to that
No!
point? I've never done that,
No,
but I've had friends
that's
who had.
there's people people that just, like, they're like, "Oh, yeah, I accidentally put 2 tampons in." What? Or, like, leave one in and they don't know realize it, and then they go to, like, a appointment and there's it doesn't it reek?
I
Sorry,
don't
I don't know, this is getting gross,
Yeah,
but,
this is
like,
getting gross, but I
sorry.
mean, I don't know. I feel like I could see that happening, but the sex part of it, I feel like no.
No, having sex with that I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Okay.
But, yeah, that would be messy. Have you ever, like, left a crime scene?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I
You're like, "That's my specialty."
I think well,
This is gross,
I
sorry.
think we go into it me being like, "That's what's up. So are you good about it or you're not?" And so it's kinda like you just do it and usually drunk, but, like, this this
Would you
guy
s would you say it's a red flag if a guy has an issue with your and I'm not talking like day 1 or day 2, but just like, like it's a trickle and they're like, "Ew, no."
huge red flag.
Yep.
There the an ex, which is ex for a reason, was such a baby about it. It would literally be like the last day, nothing going on. He wouldn't engage in any way. Like, he was just like, and he had a lot of issues, so that made sense for me, but then there's nothing hotter than when you're with someone and they're like, "I don't give a fuck." And I remember one time I was on my period with an ex who I was so obsessed with, the guy from last year, and I was like it was, like, in the dark, and I was like, "Don't turn on the lights," because like, I was, like, wanting to clean things up, and he fucking was, like, drunk and got up, and, like, flicked the light on, like, pulled the sheets back, didn't care at all. I was like,
Nice.
"Chef's kiss." Have you?
Okay, you little
Who hasn't
fucking vampire.
who hasn't left a crime scene?
Yeah, yeah.
Accidentally sometimes too, like, sometimes I feel like it's my period has started and I didn't know. And then it's like, "Poor Jim, he's fighting for his life right now, trying to continue listening. Stay with us, Jim. Jim, don't leave us, please God."
Yeah, no, for sure it's happened.
That's happened to everyone.
Mhm.
That's just, part of the thing.
It's life.
I don't know, I think
That's jazz, baby.
and all that jazz.
That's jazz, baby. Anyways. Okay.
Your turn.
Caitlin says, "Love you both so much. Definitely told my wife about my huge crush on Katie's BD energy." Well, thank
Brr.
you. To be quick with it, when I was 15, I met a boy on MySpace named Keegan, who I started a long distance relationship with that actually ended up being an on again, off again relationship for 2 years. We never met in person, but would talk on the phone and text daily. We got like two kind of catfishy things
Okay,
happening.
also, we all knew someone named Keegan on MySpace, I feel like.
I never knew a Keegan.
I knew a Keegan and his bangs were like this.
Hot. Yeah, no, but I think we've all just like met a boy on MySpace.
Also that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There was one time when he sent me a package with gifts for miscellaneous holidays and my birthday all in one. We broke up eventually once I met someone IRL who I wanted to date and was sick of waiting on him to come visit me. Good on you. Fast forward to late 2012. I'm now 20 years old and the show Catfish on MTV premieres. Watching it with friends, I couldn't help but recognize the classic signs of a catfish reflected on the show that I experienced during that relationship with Keegan. Not only never seeing them in person, but never talking to their friends or family members. Keegan had texted and talked with my friends, spoken to my parents when calling my house phone, etc., blah, blah, blah. Additionally, a red flag or sign was that when he sent me that present care package, he didn't put a return address. Hmm. Are you able to do that?
Oh, yeah.
You can. Oh,
Seems like it shouldn't be legal,
no.
but it is.
Okay. So the Scorpio sun and moon, ooh, spicy. I paid $5 on some website to look up their identity based on the phone number, and lo and behold, Keegan is actually Amanda. You talked on the phone with him.
Maybe does it explain that?
Okay.
Because sometimes on Catfishes, they have like a guy friend or whatever, like be the voice or like there's different things that they
Yeah.
can do. So
Choosing chaos, I then text the number 4 years post breakup and said, "Hey Amanda, what the fuck?" And she sends me a whole long apology, etc., etc. I say most of this to also say, okay, kids and teenagers are naive, and I'm incredibly lucky that the only thing Keegan lied about was their gender. It could have been exponentially worse and more dangerous, and even adults can be fooled these days. Stay safe out there. Love you. Bye. I
quick sidebar about Catfish. Do you see that Neve broke his neck?
Oh my God. Yes. Like,
Thank God he's okay.
that is
We're sending
so
our well
scary.
wishes. Neve, who was the host of Catfish, was
Yeah.
bicycling, I think, and he just flew off his bike and broke
I
his
think he
neck.
was going
He
on
got
his
hit
bike
by
to
a
pick up
truck.
his kid from school.
He got hit by a truck?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was knocked off his bike by a truck.
Oh my God. Well, he's seems to be recovering and like he's walking and I think he's out of the hospital now, but
But breaking your neck.
is wild. So really happy he's okay. But
Yeah.
yeah, what we were all doing in the early aughts, I don't know how any of us are alive. It's like the choices that we were making. I was probably DMing as a 14-year-old with several 40-year-olds. Like could have been on an episode of Dateline so easily.
I remember, yeah, I met a guy and when I was my senior year in high school on MySpace, and oh my God, like this guy's so hot, da, da, da. And we started talking a lot, and he obviously I lived in New York at that time, and he lived in California, in Southern California, and I like really wanted to meet him, and I was coming out here like post graduation with like my grandma on a trip, and so she like came with me. Like, I was like, let's meet at. I think we met at the Rainforest Cafe at South Coast. Yeah. But he was like totally like legit. We ended up like seeing each other quite often. Like post that, I would come out and see my friend when she was going to school out here. And even when I like moved out here, we did, like see each other. I mean, we don't really talk anymore, but we
Well,
kept in touch for a long time.
You're very okay. Well, then that's an example of one that goes right. It's like on the show Catfish, I feel like it was like 1 out of every 20 would be a legit person like that, and it would be real. But that's so crazy.
Like, how would we just like go find people on MySpace? It was just like, I mean, like, similar, I guess, similar to now, like on Instagram, but MySpace was like slightly different algorithm, I think.
Okay, let's take it back to 1998 when I was in AOL chat rooms being like,
Oh, ASL.
24-year-old female, horny, let's hang out. You and I'm like, what the fuck?
Just
like,
in random
what
chat
are-
rooms.
literally risking my biscuit as a child, like trying to talk to old men. I'm like, need to get off the internet. I honestly, it does. One of my favorite podcasts is called Something Was Wrong, and they do.
So on brand.
Well, it's a bunch of
The way you just said that without even like.
it's a bunch of different kinds of stories.
So casual.
So, but one of them they did was, I think 2 seasons ago, was about this huge catfishing ring thing that happened. And it was in the last few years. It wasn't that long ago. And so you always say, like, how could this happen in this day and age with technology? But what it was, this really, really sick girl was the roommates with a couple different women over the course of years. And she would say, no, I know this guy. We're friends. I know him from back then. So they would all have years-long relationships with this girl. And she would be the one, because if I told you, I know this guy, you'd believe me. You'd think I knew him. So when they thought, like, maybe he's catfishing because he'll gaslight me and get mad, we're supposed to meet up. And he's like, fuck this, I'm not meeting up with you today, and leave. And they like did all these different things. She was the reason it was able to keep going. So I do understand when it happens sometimes. But
yeah, when there's someone like that's kind of triangulating it all.
oh, it was so dark. She bought a sex toy that, you know how there's like a remote so you can do it from anywhere, like on an app. So she was literally like violating them. Like they were using a sex toy thinking it was with a man,
Oh.
and it was with her in the other room. So wild. Anyway, it's a great podcast. So go listen to it.
Okay, I will.
But Jim, I hope you're still there. We love you so much. Do we WWDD?
Okay, now let's WWDD.
Do you want to go first?
Okay, I'll go first. Anonymous says, "Hey ladies, I love you guys so much and I'm obsessed with VPR. I recently started listening to your podcast while at work and it makes my day so much better. Anyways, I was hoping to get your advice about whether or not I'm overreacting about this situation. So lately I've been arguing with my boyfriend about his matching tattoo with his ex. Ooh. It doesn't say her name or anything, but it's a King of Hearts symbol on his thumb, while hers is obviously a Queen of Hearts on hers. So original. But the fact that it's on his thumb means that even if he's wearing long sleeves and all his other tattoos aren't showing, this one always is. I've always known this ex had a real hold on him. It's been several years since they've been together, but it's clear he was head over heels for her and has said things about her that has made me wonder if he's still hung up on her, even though she was apparently cheating on him. Not to mention, he's never seemed nearly as head over heels towards me. I've asked him a few times to get it covered. I'm so tired of looking at it all the time and thinking of the relationship, but he claims it's just a tattoo and doesn't even make him think of her anymore. It's been almost 3 years now, and he still hasn't got it covered. He says he doesn't understand how it's a big deal, and if I want him to get it covered, I should just pay for it myself. I don't like that. I've
You
even
don't like that at
offered.
all?
I've even offered, and it just never happened. He says
Hmm.
I'm overreacting, and I shouldn't care about a tattoo when it's something from the past. Am I overreacting, or am I right to be bothered by this? Thank you in advance. I mean, I have a couple of thoughts.
Oh, well, we are standing by. I am sad.
Okay, it sounds like he has like other tattoos. So I mean, yeah, I think it could just be a tattoo that he no longer has like any kind of like emotional attachment to, or it is just a thing that's on his body, for sure. Even though it is like matching, they got it together, or whatever. Like I have tattoos I've gotten with people, but I'm not like this is soul tying,
Yeah.
it probably just isn't. I think I understand it can be difficult to not feel like insecure when it comes to like other people's relationships and not like compare yourself to that past and think like, oh, they're still hung up on it. And now they have this like mark on their body that is representative of that past relationship. But like, you got to decide for yourself if you can let it go. I think bringing this up constantly to him, like, I think now he's become like maybe kind of resentful about it based on like your attitude about it. And I want to say your attitude about it because like you are valid in your feelings as we all are about, previous experiences. But like if he's telling you that it's just a thing on his body and it doesn't bring him back to that space, he's not holding on to it because he's still holding on to her. Yeah, sometimes going and getting it something covered. What is he supposed to do? Get something bigger on his thumb? I think you just gotta decide for yourself whether it's something that you can like move past and not associate it. If he doesn't associate it with her, you shouldn't either.
Like Katie's saying, your feelings are definitely valid. I understand that, but it's going to come down to what your decision is going to be about it because he seems like he's been pretty clear and he's not going to budge. The main problem I have with this actually is if he told me that if I wanted it covered so much I could pay for it myself, I would take my beef pluckers and pluck his goddamn eye out. I don't love that energy from
But
him.
if to me that seems like it was almost like retaliatory of just like we've been going over this. Like if you want to cover it, like you can pay,
Yeah, yeah,
So
no, but I just don't love it, and I also to me, I think it speaks more volumes that you're saying he's not nearly as head over heels for you than he was with her, like, you weren't in their relationship, so you don't know, like, what that was
and
like, and I understand feeling that way, but
mhm.
I think that speaks much more to a deeper rooted problem of you comparing their relationships and an insecurity that exists in you. I'm not saying you're insecure, but obviously that's coming from somewhere. So I think that to answer your question, I don't think you're overreacting. What bothers us bothers us. So if this is your trigger, then it is. But if he's been pretty clear that, and or that you're even having to doubt if he's telling the truth, if whether it's just a tattoo or has more meaning, you then need to decide. Like, I think he's been pretty clear. He's not going to cover it. And he is saying it's not a big deal to him. But if it is a big deal to you, then you maybe need to evaluate if it's a relationship you want to stay in. And also, if it brings up all these bad feelings for you, it's never fun to be with someone that, even if they're not willing, like purposely trying to make you feel insecure, that insecurities come out.
No, absolutely. So I don't know.
I think it's less about like whether you're overreacting and what he needs to do and more about he's told you what he's going to do. So you need
Yeah,
to make
I
decisions
think
based on that.
I think you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think you have in your head like, oh, it would just prove to me his love for me was stronger than his love for her if he would just get it covered.
Yeah.
But that's something I think that you kind of put in your head, and that's not something that
You've
actually
assigned
exists.
that meaning to it. He
Yeah,
hasn't.
he hasn't. I don't think he's. I mean, like as somebody, you have tons of tattoos. I don't think like you look at them longingly and be like, "This reminds me of." I don't. I mean,
Mm-mm.
I don't have like any.
I was dating someone who put half my tattoos in my body. They're great tattoos. I don't look at a single one of them being like, "Ugh, remember when you tatted me up?" I'm like, oh, thank God he was such a good tattoo artist. I don't
Yeah,
assign any meaning to that. And he literally put them on my body.
yeah.
Don't think about it at
I
all.
mean, there's so many people that like, I think if it was like a name, maybe, or I don't know, I think you could probably work that out. But I think sometimes people will get tattoos covered for exes or things like that. But I mean, I think if it's a tattoo that they just got with somebody, it's not necessarily matching. Okay, Queen of Hearts, King of Hearts. But I don't really think that's like a signifier of their relationship. It's not a date that they got married. It's not their initials. So yeah, why would he need to cover that?
Okay,
I
and
don't.
also if it was on his ring finger and he didn't have a single other tattoo, I'd maybe be like, hmm, that's interesting. But yeah, I think this is just something that you're gonna have to decide. He's answered the question, in my opinion. So now it's time to decide if it's something you want to deal with or not.
Yeah, yeah. Good luck. I don't.
Good luck, babe. Hey, Katie and Dana. First, I want to express my appreciation for both of you and this hot fire pod. Katie, as a fellow Cap, you're my Capricorn queen. Thank you for gracing my week twice now with the added episode. Dana, you've talked about being no contact with your dad before. I was also no contact with my bio mom for 9 years for similar reasons as you. I'm 27 now, and I recently unblocked her. I have a really big Latin American family, and while they do their best to respect my boundaries, sometimes I'm excluded from family get togethers if my bio mom will be there. My grandparents are getting older, and I'm tired of her being a barrier to me spending time with them. I also know that I'll inevitably have to face her at weddings, funerals, etc. I've been in therapy for a long time and feel okay about my decision to start talking to her again, but it's only been a few days. I trust myself to know boundaries, and our interactions so far have been minimal but pretty good. I'm seeing her at a big family trip in a couple weeks, and I'm hoping it will go well. Dana, my question is, what worked with you when you've let your dad back in your life? Any advice for how to maintain my center when I see her again? Love and light to you both. The new merch is amazing.
Mm,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
I mean, this one's a complicated one. I obviously make jokes about my dad all the time, but in all seriousness, it's a very sad thing in my life, and it just is what it is. I have not talked to him in going on 2 years, and over the last 11 years, we've not spoken for probably 6 of them. So I have tried many times to reincorporate him into my life, and when I've done that and done it successfully, it's mostly been about managing expectations and literally not expecting anything from this person. And I know how limited they are and the role that they've played in my life. And it worked for an amount of time for me. And then the last time that we spoke, some things came up that I knew if they did that we would not be able to move past it and I wouldn't. And that's just been what's right for me. I'm glad for you. I always encourage people, if you think that you can have family members in your life and you can work through it and keep those boundaries and kind of arm's length, I think it's worth trying. But then I also think it's knowing like you have to ultimately do what's right for you and not just keep someone in your life because they're a parent or a family member. But I think what did work for me at the time was not going back to the past, because just realizing like we're never going to see this the same. So let's just stay here and stay present. And then highly recommend also don't take the bait, because a lot of times people like that will try and trigger you and engage you in conversations that you know are going to work you up or upset you or re-traumatize you. So the best thing that you can do is just try and keep it light. Like I do not recommend going to deep places with that person, drudging up the past. Just know that you need to be aware of how it makes you feel like in this new type of relationship that you have, and if you notice it starting to backpedal, it's always okay to put more space between you and just, maybe not have it so black and white where it's like my situation where it's like I'm not ever going to speak to this person again, but be something where it can coexist. You can be at family gatherings. It's kind of easier on the people around you that have both of you in your life, but just protect yourself
Hmm.
and just know that this person probably hasn't changed and you probably did cut them out of your life at some point for a reason. So just enter this new phase with that in mind.
Mm,
That's what I recommend.
no, I agree. I think you always have to like uphold your boundaries. That's kind of like be the most important thing to you and your priority. I don't think you should do anything for anyone else to make them feel more comfortable. At the end of the day, I understand family dynamics are tricky, but I don't think you should sacrifice your own comfortability for that.
Yeah, absolutely decide what's right for you as an individual, because they're
Hmm.
also going to do the same.
Yep. Kristen says, "Hi, beauties. Day one listener here. Thanks. I'm 33 and have had a platonic girlfriend since we were in second grade. My sexual orientation is straight, and I have been in a relationship with a man for almost 2 years. This friend went out with us to a baseball game, and she overindulged in alcohol. Haven't we all? My boyfriend is a saint and made sure we got home safely. While he was in the other room after we got home, my friend made a pass at me and asked if she could kiss me. Ooh. She said if my boyfriend and I broke up, she would want to be with me. She's married to a man. Oh, uh-oh. Messy. I immediately shut her down and told her no. She passed out shortly after that. She was blackout drunk and didn't remember making a pass at me. She told me a few months ago she is discovering she is bisexual. I didn't think twice about it. Should I talk to her about this and tell her how it made me feel uncomfortable and like my relationship and her marriage were disrespected? Or should I let it slide and not mention it? I don't want to embarrass her, but I also sense she's struggling with her marriage and happiness. Thank you in advance and keep being baddies. I'm grateful for all you do. XOXO.
I think this is a tricky one,
Yeah.
but I think that you need to be straightforward with your friend, especially if you've been friends since second grade. I think that this is probably coming from a place of her feeling confused and wanting to explore a new side of her, and you're someone she's comfortable with, and that's just how it progressed. But if the feeling is not reciprocated, you don't have to embarrass her. It can be a really sensitive conversation. And I think you can just come from a place of love and understanding and just say, we have so much history together. And I, saw this side of you. And to me, it says that something more is going on in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't align with those feelings. So I just have to set the boundary that I see you as a friend. I want you to continue being my friend. I love you, but it's platonic.
Yeah.
And I want to support you in whatever it is that you're going through. And I also have to respect and prioritize my relationship. So I think the conversation doesn't need to be attacking or making her feel embarrassed. I think that it can be a totally loving, supportive thing. But I think that if you just let it slide, more than likely it will probably happen again, I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you could say like, listen, I think if you have to start it out in a place of like love and also support. I think obviously you being friends for so long, if she's probably feeling a little uncertain and unsure and uncomfortable in these thoughts and feelings, and obviously you being closest to her probably felt like she could act on that around you, and it can feel like disrespectful or potentially violating. So I think you need to also then listen. I don't want to like compromise my relationship and also our friendship. So I need to like get that out there as well. And be very clear about that. But just, tell her that you want to like also support her through this and want to see her happy, whatever that looks like. But
Yeah.
you don't share the same feeling.
Yeah.
What exactly you said. Ugh, but
Tricky situation though, and good luck to you, because I'm sure that it's making you feel confused too, and you guys have such a long history.
mm-hmm.
But you're gonna be all right. Emma says, "Hi, Katie and Dana. I've got a wild story to share. I just found out that my boyfriend of 6 years, Jake, has been cheating on me with a girl named Emma, the same name as me. I recently stumbled upon a pile of old receipts and discovered that Jake had been spending a lot of time with this other Emma, who's a barista at our local coffee shop in Palm Beach. It makes sense why he always wants to work there during the day when he would usually sit in his office at home. But the real kicker, last week, Emma number 2 celebrated her birthday, and Jake regifted her a pair of designer shoes that he gave me, but I hadn't worn yet. I think he thought I forgot about them. That is clinically insane.
Yeah.
I remember them clearly because I had kept them in their box, and Jake had given them to me as a surprise gift a year ago. I went to wear them for a girls' night, and they were nowhere to be found. I thought I was going crazy. He was cooking in the kitchen last week, and I saw the name Emma pop up in his phone, and I thought maybe it was a text from me that he hadn't opened yet. He had been acting a little off and very distant, so one day I went to look through his phone. The idiot failed to realize that I know his passcode. I went through his phone and found scandalous texts from other Emma and a picture of my shoes on her feet saying how much she loves them. As crazy as it sounds, I haven't said anything to him yet because he left for a family trip and I want to do it in person when he's back. Eager to hear your thoughts on how I should approach this, but I do know I'm getting my shoes back. Smiley face. Love this podcast. Thanks for all you do. Basement,
Whoa,
basement,
that is
basement,
so basement. I mean, okay, I think you don't go after her. Like this is not her fault.
No.
She doesn't know that they were your shoes. I don't know that she knows that you exist.
I don't know that she knows about she's Emma 2. She might think she's Emma 1.
I'm saying because she's saying that this is. Did they say it's like their place that they go to, or it's a local coffee shop? So I don't know if she's seen them there together. I don't know. Okay, but the thing is, yeah, no, I would literally just pummel him.
We're not promoting physical violence.
Why?
I would say if he's out of town, family trip, and you want to talk to him in person, this would be my conversation in person. I would pack my shit while he was gone and I would leave. That would be my conversation in person. I would, you know what I would do? Poetic. pack my shit, get out of there, go to the coffee shop, get a coffee from the coffee shop, and leave the coffee cup on the counter
Whoa.
with a napkin from the place and write a note on it and say, those shoes look better on her anyway.
Whoa.
Damn,
That's what we have to
Dana.
do, right?
Do that.
That's what we have to do.
that.
That's how you win. You block his shit. He can never
Because-
access you again.
Because yeah, here's the thing. You're gonna deal with some like gaslighting, some lies, and you're gonna feel crazy, and it's gonna be tears, and it's gonna be that, and it's. I don't think there's a version of a conversation or anything that's gonna like make you feel great or give you the answers or give you the kind of resolution that you're gonna like really be happy with. So I think if you really want to come out on top, you do exactly that.
I want to kick it up a notch.
Okay.
Pee in the cup.
Okay.
Pee in the cup, put the lid on it, write, the shoes look better on her anyway, and then kiss it. Give it a lipstick, put it on there, and literally block him. He'll go insane.
I
And
don't
also
like,
fuck
I don't
him.
like peeing in the cup.
Oh,
I think let's keep it class A and just have it be.
Okay, Miss Breast Milk everywhere. What are you talking about?
Listen, we're moving out. Like this is already like.
Well, regardless, look, I'm sure you're going to end up wanting to have a conversation with him, but I really wish you would do it this way. He doesn't deserve you. That's crazy. We don't know what he's told Emma to, so unfortunately we just can't assume, but yeah, get out of there immediately. Like you're done with him. What an asshole.
He's cheating and he took your shoes and gave.
I mean, I'm like, I don't want to assume how many pairs of designer shoes you have, but like, how did he think that you would never notice that? Like, that's so crazy.
That the shoes, like, okay, so let's say you didn't.
And you kept them in the box.
Well, yeah, let's say you didn't like know there was cheating, there was Emma, like, you know, like, what was he gonna say when you're like, where are my shoes? He was gonna just lie and make you feel like you lost
He'd
them
be
or
like,
you
the
did
dog
something.
ate them. You're like, we don't have dog.
But that's the thing. Like, this man was fully prepared to say that like you lost them and
make you feel crazy.
That is like the gross. Okay.
So gross. He was so prepared to make you feel crazy.
Oh man. Okay. Anyways, Jesus. Well, let us know what you end up doing.
Can you please follow up and let us know if you do the coffee cup thing and if you tinkle on it? But we need to know.
Okay. Kristen says, I want to keep this cute. Love the pod and your friendship. Please help. I grew up with 2 cousins. We were made a trio, all close in age. Fast forward to our 20s, stopped talking for about 4.5 years. Everyone grew up. One even got married, and I came out as bisexual. All this to say, I just had drinks recently with married cousin. We debated for hours, started silly over Drew Offwallow, who is my Beyonce. So naturally, I'm on Drew's side. Her video/podcast got me through days I didn't want to continue life and taught me so much, as did yours. She started by saying, if this is going to lead us to not talk, we should probably avoid it. About 8 drinks in, we get deep. I'm for the girls and gays, and we got into discussion on this and how she leans more right-sided at the end of it all because of certain trans beliefs.
Whoosh.
I ended a lot of the conversation with, I can't change someone who's bigoted, unwilling to learn and unpack internalized biases, homophobia, misogyny, fatphobia. I could go on. She didn't believe fatphobia was real, / there's only 2 genders, and being extremely ignorant and narrow-minded, even after I provided proof / research from how the patriarchy impacted us / white supremacy and how it's okay to be born ignorant but not die ignorant. Nice.
That part.
Is it okay if I never speak to her again? My family is trying to say no, but I'm not one to believe family is blood. Family is created and found. Thank you. Anything helps. Love you both. Yeah, you can never speak to this bitch again.
Bye. Cut her the fuck
Bye.
out. Cut it out.
You were born into family. You grew up together when it was all just like riding bikes and not knowing anything. But like now that your brain's fully formed and you know this shit, you do not have to speak to this person.
I do believe there is time and space for having differences with other people and working through it. But bigotry personally is where I draw the line. So if those are the beliefs that you're going to share in terms of being a hateful person and infringing on other people's right to a safe and healthy life, then we are not friends. You're not in my life.
People that are just like willfully ignorant.
Yeah.
Is just like that. I have a very frustrating time with that.
Yeah, it seems like all the phobias. Seems like she loves them all. So yeah, I can't. You can come hang out with us though if you want, because it sounds like you're cool. But no, don't talk to her.
No, you don't.
Seems like you have been doing you've been doing just fine without her, and you guys just rekindled. So let it go as quickly as it came. You can go to the Cheesecake Factory with us any day.
Hell
Chili's,
yeah.
you want to go have a trio sampler? What do
Yeah,
they call it?
triple dipper,
Yeah, you want to have
trio
you want to
sampler,
have a fucking
want some
triple dipper and a Cadillac margarita?
El Presidente.
Mm-hmm.
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 But yeah, do not worry about that, and tell your family.
Tell your family to suck an egg. Also, I don't know what it is about family that see something, say something situation, like they won't like they see how this person's being problematic, but they're more making you the problem, it sounds like, because family is blood. Well, why doesn't the family say to her, hey, this is nasty behavior?
Well, yeah, when they want to just side with the one that you're trying to separate yourself from, or the one that they feel is being ostracized, it's like, well, you look at why, and if you don't have a problem with that, then you're also part of it.
Right.
So, I might not talk to you no more either.
Oh, those are the vibes I bring to the function. I don't care if we're having a barbecue and ever you say some out of pocket shit, like gonna say something. So I think that's weird that they just want you to be like, it's blood. And I'm like, well, I don't care.
No, I don't either.
Do not care. Anonymous says, hey, Katie and Dana, love you guys and love the pod. I drive daily for work, so I love listening to you guys chit chat to pass the time. I'm turning 30 this year. Happy birthday. I've always been a confrontational person. If I don't share exactly what I'm thinking, did I write this in? Am I anonymous?
This is both of us.
This is us. If I don't share exactly what I'm thinking when I'm thinking it, I feel like thankfully with therapy, I'm able to take more time to reflect. But sometimes, yeah, you just gotta call people out. I know you both feel me here. LOL. Yeah. Recently, there was a situation with my husband's close friend saying that he didn't feel safe around me. When my husband tried to ask for more information, him and his girlfriend, who I was also close to, said that I was mean and judgmental, but gave no specific examples. I got mad at the situation because I felt it was unfair and they were projecting their own insecurities. I sensed something that was maybe a little angrier than it should have been.
I love you.
Me. But I was hurt by the situation. I felt like they were thriving off of confirmation bias of me by getting angry towards them. But of course, I was angry. And to this day, I stand by the fact that I really don't believe I was what they were making me out to be. Now, I know you two girlies have experience being misconstrued. I'm a professional with a career that I've had almost a decade of experience in. I'm kind and empathetic. I'm strong in my convictions, and I stand by standing up for myself. However, I do get worried that maybe I'm in the wrong for reacting how I do. I'm not overly nasty or throw insults. I just stand up for what I believe and will call people out for stupid and shitty things they do. Since I've seen y'all navigate this before, I'd love to see if you have any advice. Thanks again for everything. Little PS, but I gotta know. Subject of one of these arguments was a former friend who still followed me on social media, liking and then purposely unliking the post once she realized it was me. Called her out with a screenshot, which triggered a rehash of the situation. She said I was childish for calling her out and I just need to know if I'm a dumb bitch or not. Well, you are among friends right now. So first of all, if I'm you about the friend, just because this will be a quick one, the social media thing, I'm soft blocking that person. I'm just removing them from the following. I understand it's making you feel some kind of way, but that seems pretty targeted. So I would just remove her from my following. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
you can't. Not everyone needs to be held accountable. Like some shit is just silly goose behavior that you need out of your life. So I personally would just not deal with that.
you know what? I say don't change and don't water yourself down for other people. Again, like if they can't give you specific examples and like exactly what you said and how it made them feel and everything, if they can't be specific about it and just be like, you're just mean, it's like, well, you're a little bitch. I understand. Like I have a hard time sometimes. I know that my tone, it can be off sometimes. I'm not like using it correctly. And I could just, cause I'm just very direct to the point sometimes stuff. And it can come across as harsh and mean, but I don't know how to like make things fluffy and sugarcoat it or and coddle people with what I have to say. I'm just gonna go straight to it. But the message of what I'm trying to say isn't mean. That the point that I'm trying to make isn't mean. I'm like, this is just like how I feel. And so I wish I could be a little bit whatever, but at the end of the day, like I'm not going to just keep my mouth shut. I'm not going to stand up for what I think or believe. I have opinions. I want to advocate for myself and I think I think it's a great quality. And I think people who don't do those things are just jealous about it.
We once shared that tweet that said, "I'm no longer shrinking to be digestible.
No.
You can choke
Yes,
disrespectfully.
you can choke.
You can choke."
I don't care. Like, point me to where I've said like there's some things I've said mean, because if I'm like angry, yeah, I'm gonna be upset, and like if it comes out mean, okay, fine, then I apologize if I've said something insulting or mean. But me just standing firm in something I believe in and sticking up for myself isn't being mean, and it shouldn't make you feel unsafe.
Also, people don't like that around about a woman. And I'm also like, dude, this guy saying he feels unsafe, what does he think you're gonna do? Hit him? Like, please relax. I would say I think that there is a good balance between you do need to stand your ground. I don't think you need to change, but I do think it's good to be observational in terms of like I am a reactive person and
Mhm.
sometimes I'm in the wrong because I'm reactive like that and like I'm
Right.
direct and I'll like say something I don't mean or it won't come out correctly, and I will always apologize when that happens and, like, reel it back in, and then if I'm, like, with multiple friends and they're like, "Yeah, that was fucked up," I'll be like, "Oh, perception's reality." So I think there's an element of that, of course, and I think that the fact that you're in therapy, the fact that you're even asking these questions is a really good thing because sometimes people are like that and are reactive, and they have no self-awareness that that is what is going on. So I'd say it's good to be aware, but overall, you should stand in your convictions. You should be direct and you shouldn't have to shrink yourself for the people around you. Now, if your husband's like, you're a scary, scary monster and whatever, like maybe it's something to evaluate. But based on how this sounds, and not just because you sound just like us,
Mhm.
I think you're perfect. Unfortunately, I do think that there was a confirmation bias because you freaked out on them. So also if someone's coming at you with that shit, even if they're wrong, maybe before you send a text, like reread it a couple times or like write it
Well,
and then wait a day to send it. Cause sometimes I say shit. I just did that this weekend. Like said something I didn't mean to someone because I was drunk and mad. And then in the morning was like, wish I would not have written it this way. I
yeah.
apologize.
Well, I mean, but confirmation bias. So like they said something, they brought something up and said, I don't feel safe, which is like really, and then of course you're gonna get upset because you're like, well, can you tell me like why? Like what specifically do I say or do? And then they're like, I don't know, I just got it. And then of course that's gonna like rile somebody up to be upset about that, because it's just like, well, I want, and then they're like, you're doing it now. See, it's like, no, 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 no. I'm responding or reacting to like what you're saying to me right now. And it is upsetting to me. And it's like, they're not being, they're not even saying anything specific, but of course they're getting a reaction out of you and then just pointing it out.
Yeah.
But that's what's a frustrating thing. Of course you want to, like, I suggest like taking a beat, not trying to get so reactive. But when people like that who just are agitators,
Yeah. 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 We're on your side. That's
yeah,
what I know.
yeah, for sure.
Again, I would be much more worried about you if you weren't asking yourself these questions or asking us or talking to
You're
your therapist.
self-aware, so
You're self-aware.
you know that how you can get, and the thing that I know how I can get, and I know that it's better if I can just like maybe not send the text, maybe not pop off, maybe just remove myself and take a breather, and then respond after I've had a moment. And again, if people are still acting like, then
Suck an egg.
yeah. Anyway, okay. Molly says, hi, Katie and Dana. Let me start by saying I love listening to Disrespectfully. Each episode is often relatable, sometimes quirky, and always hilarious. I appreciate you both and hope that somehow, someday, we can be in the same place and scream/sing some My Chemical Romance songs together.
Find us at emo night.
I'm writing because I need advice. I'm 31 years old now. Between the ages of 19 and 26, I was in a relationship with a man 5 years younger than, or 5 years older than me. I gave everything to that relationship and even left all my family and friends to move several states away to be with him. After enduring verbal and emotional abuse for the entire year that we lived together, coupled with being incredibly homesick, I moved home in 2020. I assumed I'd never have to deal with him again. I was wrong. My female cousin, let's call her Liz, who's the same age as my ex, went to high school with him back in the day. Liz and I worked together at one point in time, and Liz thereby indirectly introduced me to him. When my ex and I split, I thought Liz wouldn't be inclined to continue a friendship with him, especially considering a pandemic happened soon after and because he lives hundreds of miles away. Not only are they still friends, apparently, but Liz recently told me that her and her husband have accepted an invitation to my ex's upcoming wedding. Please note the wording here. She told me after accepting the invite, leaving me feeling like an afterthought. Even though I don't miss my ex and have moved on with someone else, the pain from that relationship is still something that I'm working through in therapy. When Liz called to tell me this, I let her know how hurt I was, but I'm not sure that she fully understands or ever will. She didn't seem particularly fazed when I told her that this man had seriously damaged me and made some lame excuse RSVPing yes. We ended the phone call with me telling her that she made her choice to go and I wouldn't ask her to cancel because that's rude as fuck. But that this decision has changed how I feel about her and her husband. Liz is tough to be friends with in the first place because of her various idiosyncrasies, but she's family and we used to be close. I was even her maid of honor when she got married. But now I can't stomach the thought of being in the same room as her and her husband. If you were me, how would you handle my relationship with Liz going forward? Do I just need to get over this or am I justified in my hurt? I love your insights on the situation. Thank you and XOXO.
What are your thoughts?
Listen, I get it. I don't know. Like it's hard because it's like you want people to kind of like really understand and empathize with your feelings, especially with the ones that you're close to, and especially when this person isn't in the picture anymore, and like you feel like they're not around. It'd be one thing if this person was very much still a part of their lives in the picture and of it all. So it's like, yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense. So it's like it should be an easy decision, but it's a lot to like sometimes like ask of people. I get it. And you don't want to be that person where it's just like hate everyone I hate,
Yeah.
for my reasons and my reasons only. But like, loyalty, sometimes people don't have that. Like integrity and loyalty should just be an easy thing and people lack it. So
I think that you are totally justified in
Mhm.
your feelings about it. I am a big proponent of let them. So
Mhm.
if she's going to prioritize this relationship with someone that hurt you and also hurt you in such an intimate way and setting, I think that for me, I wouldn't necessarily say cut her out of your life, never speak to her again, but it's just take note. I would just be like, you know what? This is probably an arm's length person for me.
Mhm.
I have to honor what our relationship was when it was, but you're making these choices to actively have someone in your life who has caused me so much trauma that it's just not something that is sustainable, I think, for long term. So just like an at length person. Lots
Yeah.
of people in my life that are at length that I used to be close with that it's just like they made their choices. That's fine. I'm not going to dictate who you're talking to. I'm never going to tell someone, don't talk to this person. Go talk to them. But if you do, it might change our dynamic and that's fine. Like I'm
Yeah.
good with that. So I think it doesn't need to be something that festers or makes you feel sad. You expressed your hurt to her and sounds like she didn't really like hear it. And that's fine.
Yeah. It's just not something that you're going to continue to invest in because you aren't aligned on that level, and that's fine.
Well,
Thanks for writing in, everybody.
on a beautiful Friday. Please keep writing in disrespectfullypod@gmail.com. Let us know what your burning questions are and your crazy stories because we love hearing
Mhm.
them.
Yeah, your donger of a story.
Jim, if Jim tuned out, I'm gonna cry.
Never.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Babe, you're gonna see the power of women. Like
Disrespectfully.